God. What episode is this?
27.
No, 4?
Season 1.
Is this episode 4?
Episode
I think it's
85.
episode 4. I believe it's episode 4. Hello, we're back again. Welcome to the Portah family. If you ain't tapped in before, make sure you catch every previous show before this, and you'll really get some jewels through the process. This is episode 4, I do believe, or 5. Episode 4, I think it's 4. We're gonna go with 4 because it sounds good. But this one is boundaries, dynamic changes, and mental tolls in poly. So I'm gonna start off with boundaries. We talked about boundaries on episode 1, and was dope because I record a lot of shows, but I have a show coming up about boundaries again, but in a different format. So stay tuned for that one. But boundaries, the importance of boundaries, right? I think at the beginning that need to be set. This is where that discussion came from. Was they need to be set because in order to respect each other throughout the process. There's going to be a lot of challenges we ain't never been before. And when we get there, sometimes we fuck up because we didn't know that was going to trigger our partner because the boundaries are set for ourselves. So we trigger something from our partner. You know, it's something we should have understood. What do you guys say something about boundaries?
I don't know. I think boundaries are good in the beginning of the relationship so that you know what you're not willing to do until you come across something that invokes an emotion in you that needs to be, brought out and discussed. So
But also the thing that we need to discuss, because Chantel wanted to bring up, was the alteration of a boundary being changed. Now there could be a boundary change or altered after you go through your journey, because a new partner could cause an alteration. You'll have to set a new boundary, maybe, or a new understanding within your relationship, because you got to see how that relationship is going to be structured. You know, so we have to be open to the ideas of creating these spaces that we could communicate, be transparent with each other and honest of these alterations, because that could cause a lot of problems and conflict within our relationship. You agree?
I agree.
You like how I worded that? Wordsmith. Maybe not. I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know. I don't know. Let me go to the second one. I'm trying to hit off everything kind of here. Dynamic changes. That's exactly what I was leading into with the boundaries. Dynamic changes. We've changed our dynamic. You know, I think that's something people have to be kind of open to. I think when we venture into poly, um, and I think polygamy is more structured into this dynamic, into this ruling. I guess I don't know. I don't want to say rule, but is if we're not doing this, then we're not doing it at all. To where poly is kind of like, let's have the discussion. Let's see where the alterations can be. What can get you whatever you need, whatever, because you are my partner for life. That's it. You're my partner for life. So however we see our relationship beneficial for both of us, let's go ahead and do it. You want to get another man or another woman, then we're open to those options. If I want whatever it is to find a natural flow within how we want to love. You understand what I mean by the differences?
No.
No? Because I would say monogamy is simple. You want to be with somebody else, then it's 86. We done. Simple as that. Now polygamy, polygyny and polyandry. Polygyny. I'm gonna use that example because that setup is a more popular one. If a woman would tell the man, "Well, I think I want another man," you know what I mean?
They're gonna let them explore that option.
They're not gonna let them explore that option.
But in polygamy,
in polygyny, they won't.
Oh, okay.
And that's 86. You're done. That's why I said that. And in polyamory, it goes, well, I want to just use the female male female setup again. The woman says, I don't want to say female. Woman says, well, I want to explore having another man or whatever. Okay, well, let's discuss this. It becomes a discussion because I know I want to spend my life with you regardless. I love you unconditional through this process of why you're understanding you.
Okay.
So I think you have to be open to those options, and I know you have to be open on those options, or find out what you want. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a process, right? At the end of the day, and I say that and I stress that because the next topic that we're going to be getting into tonight, mental tolls. We went through so many mental tolls. I don't know if you want to share a little bit of your mental tolls.
It was just a lot of stress. I don't know.
A lot of processes you feeling alone.
Yeah.
Insecurities.
There's a lot of things I had to understand about myself too in that moment. So there's a lot of dealing with myself and things that I had not gotten over.
Yeah, there was a lot of healing to go through that process. And one thing that I love is that I heard recently on one of my shows, what you call it, especially when you're in a position. Our position was crazy. Was the when you can't trust and the person put themselves in a placement to not be trusted, even though they want to work through it, work on it, and be better, it still is challenging. I thought that shit was fresh. Run with that. If you have to rewind it, break that down again. But yeah, the mental toll, I think the process with the challenges of trying to readjust our relationship, it was a lot of ups and downs. I remember my body had broke out from just stress. My legs, we didn't know what was going on. My body just reacted. A lot of us had our individual mental tolls within the process. A lot of people will not speak about this in poly, but it is a discussion that needs to be had because there is a lot of mental tolls. A lot of times where you feel by yourself. You're in a house full of people, but you still feel by yourself. And what was crazy about that, sometimes they're not the enemy. You done created yourself. You done create them to be the enemy in your mind so far that you distance yourself. You shut yourself down. And you're your own enemy. And they're trying to help. They're trying to, but once you develop them as they're not good for me. They're not whatever you have gone in your mind, because you're fighting your own emotions. You're in charge of your own emotions, your own battles, your own. There's only so much the other people can do. These are things that you're gonna have to do within yourself. Therapy. I cannot stress that enough because it's going to help you process and digest the information that is needed. Because it is challenging and we don't speak about it. But you know what? We're gonna talk about it. Let's tap the fuck in. But that's with that. And for today's guest commercial, she could have joined us. But much love to Shay. She said this. I am going to fuck the name up. Zari's Closet. I will fuck it up. I fuck up names. This is what I do. Zari's Closet. I want to give a special shout out to her. Let me get her website real quick. Website is going to be in Zari's Closet. InZari'sCloset.com. I had to throw a check, boy. I fuck up names. Zari'sCloset.com. Right now, with the products, IG, the Instagram, make sure y'all tap into in Zari's Closet. Same thing as a website. Make it simple, make it funky, make it juicy. You heard? Huh? ZURIS. Closets. Make sure it was doing it. And if you don't know, now you know. Look at that. There we go. A little bit. Love the logo. Big shout out on that. And there's a whole, she wrote us a letter. I'm not going to read this. This is personal. Y'all mind your business. Mind your business. And make sure I got everything that's right. Y'all got to check this out. Mind your business on the letter. But, she did a letter on the top. This is dope. I know you can't see it. My laptop a little funky. And then, got the little wrapping paper. The vibes. So what we got in here, right? We got you want to grab one? Oh, I grabbed some cheeks. Player. I grabbed some cheeks. You want to open that? Body, baby. And I'm gonna give you a description of what that is. Yes. You got to open it. We got 2 oils. Ooh, you can't even see. It's too low. We got 2 oils right here. Now, these oils right here, let's see. The candle is made out of soy wax. Oh, so once you burn them, you could use them for, once they burn it, you could use them for the bed play. You heard? That's a little bed play action right there. Got the gold flakes. Show the cheeks. Show the body. Nah, I'm playing. So that's that's the wax play. As well, the oils are used for bath and body, helps dehydrate and soften the skin. And also, I have a handmade soap, sage, and crystals on the site. Make sure y'all tap in, man. I hate that she couldn't do this because I knew I was gonna kind of do this kind of messed up. I like people to drop their jewels on their products and everything. But yeah, these are dope. These are dope. I really wish y'all could see that. So it comes with everything. So this is going to be something for y'all that y'all can get on the site. Make sure y'all tap in. And then we got the candle for the wax play. So again, that's Zuri's, what's it? Zuri's Closet. I told y'all.
I don't even know if I'm saying it, but I'm hoping.
You don't even know you're saying it right?
But I'm hoping I am.
ZUR.
Whatever you were going to say.
You're fucking right. ZURIS Closet. That's the Instagram. That's the website. Sage, soap, oils, candle for the wax play. You heard, tap in, so much more. I know she got so much dropping now, so make sure you tap in with her.
Oil smell like that?
Yeah.
It smells good.
Yeah.
Like you just open the box.
How good? How good? We taking this to the bedroom good or just good? No, we got to take it to the V table next. Make sure y'all tap in. Like I said, Zoe's Closet. You know the vibes. Thank you so much, Shay, for the products, the merchandise. Much love. And let's go ahead and kick it to the V-tail to keep this discussion going. Hello, world. That's my thing. That's my introduction. And as always, you know, at this portion, we have the panel portion. We have the session where we bring other people within the community to touch on the topic that we have at hand. Today's topic, we're hitting on boundaries. We're hitting on alterations within the dynamic. And then we're also hitting on the mental tolls. You know, I got some very lovely guests that could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but they decided to be here right here with me. Because I would have harassed. I would have called and texted to make sure they were here with me anyway. Now, I say that all the time. But with that being said, you know what I mean? Tonight's guest, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hey, you guys, y'all already know it's your girl Chocolate Drop, Polysexy Cool Host. What's up?
Hi, everybody. It's Natasha, your bartender's favorite bartender. The best bitch on this side of the Mississippi, you heard me? Shake and make. Nice to meet you guys.
Hey, y'all. It's Kel from used to be Polly Patterson. Now I'm just solo Polly in these streets, in the nice streets, on the nice side of the street.
What up, Rough Talk World? This is your boy. I'm by myself today, Eddie Ruffman. My wife ain't here, but we gonna party without her. Let's get to it.
Period.
Facts. I want to thank y'all as always for joining me, especially for this session. You know, the V table got my V table ready for the panel talk, right? So there's many things that in the community that we discussed, but I think these topics right here need to be kind of understood. This was brought by Chantel, the first portion, which is actually speaking about boundaries. Me and her had a discussion. You know, at the beginning, I believe people should instantly, you know, I mean, it's basic. It's common sense. You know, certain things we should set there. We should have understood. But she says sometimes, you know, no, some people don't have that sense. You know, so at the end of the day, what I want to really kind of touch on is like, how do we, what is something you want to put out there for people to understand when coming into living a poly lifestyle? Those that are trying to understand it, experience it, what boundaries should be set for them at the end of the day to protect them? Because boundaries are for me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're for yourself. And how do these discussions get had? You know, what do we look for? You want to touch on it first? Because I know, you know, how you viewed it.
Oh, well, basically, I wanted to hear other people's opinion about it, just off the strength that I didn't go against boundaries, but I do have an understanding for people who don't always understand other people's boundaries and what limits and what's allowed and what's not allowed. You do have some free spirits. And then the rebuttal is, well, if somebody did it to you, would you like it? Sometimes they wouldn't give a fuck if you did it to them. So that's not really a rebuttal to have. It's all of an understanding of what is allowed. Well, I mean, not allowed, but what do you guys agree on? Because when you put allowed, it looks like someone's a parental figure and they're putting all of these rules, and then the relationship is not fun anymore. It gets too complicated. I got a rule to do this. I got to do this at this certain time. You want this type of thing. I can't do that. Like, you know, so you start drifting away from your partner anyways and drifting on to someone else that shares the same likings as you, when that could have been avoided by having a simple conversation. And also, it's basically a compromise.
Okay, because I want to kind of piggyback off what Chantel was saying. I feel like sometimes, like you said, if you have a lot of rules and then, you know, you feel like a parental, like they're giving you all these rules. To me, that's a red flag that your partner isn't really down for poly, right? And so like, that's also like something to consider too, because not everybody is interested in the same dynamic. So yeah. I feel like, you know, that saying like treat people how you want to be treated. No, treat people how they want to be treated, because everybody wants to be treated differently. So like if I'm treating someone how I want to be treated, that's not necessarily how they want to be treated. And therefore like there's a disconnect there.
Yeah, you gotta have
I
that
know.
time and understand.
I know. In the beginning of us being poly, a lot of the rules and shit that we had set in place was rules based in insecurities. Like it was a lot of the things that, uh, if I felt like it was gonna make me uncomfortable, then nah, we wasn't gonna do that. And as time progressed and as we learned more about each other and I worked with my own insecurity, like a lot of those rules fell off.
Right.
The more that the foundation was setting, you know what I'm saying? Like after you lay the concrete and it's gotta set for a little while. So the more that we let it set, um, the longer we let it set, the more I learned about what triggered those insecurities. And it was, I say this all the time, it was a lot of fucking self work to get past a
Mm-hmm.
lot of those rules, those insecure ass rules. Like we had one, I couldn't spend a certain amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was going on a date, I couldn't spend a certain amount of money. Or
That's
like
not insecure. That's financial literacy. Okay.
whatever.
It's
It was
child.
my money. If the bills in the house was paid, but you telling me I can't spend a certain amount of money, it's my money. So anyway, and another rule we had was you couldn't leave the house at a certain time. Like if you wasn't gone by 11, then you wasn't leaving the house for the night or some shit like that. But it was, it was a lot of what we now call poly 101 issues in the beginning, but now I think the only real boundary that we have or the real rule is be safe. That's really it. And it's really one of those unspoken things. Because being solo poly, I don't get involved in what she got going on. Her relationships are her relationships, and what I do is what I do, and they don't cross. So
Yeah. I can say for me, oh, ours was a hot damn mess. Okay. Like, I don't even know why we thought we were poly at the beginning because we wasn't. We was just a hot damn mess. I mean, we had so many rules. It was ridiculous. Like, honestly, I don't even see how he was able to have girlfriends that honestly at all because this nigga couldn't do nothing. He couldn't do nothing. Like he could not do nothing unless like he told me or if I was there. I definitely have a very controlling personality. So I was definitely trying to control everything he did and vice versa. He was trying to control everything I did. And it was like, I want you to taste this cake, but you can't eat the whole cake. Make sure that you just get a little taste, but not too much. Like we couldn't. It was bad. It was really, really bad. And it, like Eddie said, it came off of insecurities. And I realized that now today. Like I just didn't want him to do certain things because it made me feel uncomfortable. He didn't want me to do certain things because it made him feel uncomfortable. But once we kind of got more confident and we became more solid and realized, that we ain't going nowhere and what he's doing has nothing to do with me, it definitely all kind of changed and went in a different direction. I'm just talking about just me and my husband. It started like that. Then when we added to us and added our other booze, we had rules too. It was a hot mess then too. It was like I don't know. We had so many stupid ass rules, y'all, that I can't even really think of any right now. But it was like, if you're interested in somebody else, make sure that you let us know that you're talking to them before it gets like too serious. If you're on the phone late, make sure we know. It was just so crazy and ridiculous. So I can say like today, we don't have as many boundaries. I know for me, I like Alex said earlier, I have boundaries for myself. Like if you're sexually active with somebody else, and you are unprotected, before you come to me, my boundary is you need to go get tested to make sure you're good for my own boundary. So now I have boundaries like that instead of me calling it a boundary when it was really just an insecure rule of you can't talk to her or don't talk to her too late or don't do this. Now it's more of I care about myself I don't really, not to say I don't care about what they're doing, but I kind of don't care about what they're doing. I care about me and more myself. Just be honest with me, be open with me, and respect me. And when I say that, respect me and my body. If you out there slanging, make sure you being safe. And if you aren't being safe, you need to go get tested before you come to me. That's my number one boundary.
I think there's a huge difference between boundaries and control. Like,
I was gonna say, the biggest thing, right, that I always tell a lot of people is boundaries and barriers. Boundaries, we protect ourselves. Barriers stem from our insecurities. We have to push through it and find out how we overcome those challenges. Because the barriers protect us because it's something we don't want to deal with, which stands up from our insecurities, our jealousy, whatever it is. And that's why even with rules, someone had put in something with rules. I wanted to ask, like at the beginning, right? Because you guys' dynamics, I know. Ebony, yours changed, of course, where you adapted it to bring two other individuals, and Eddie, yours had changed. Ours had changed too. At the beginning, we had certain rules, barriers we had to get through. Of course, with the unprotected sex, or no, the sex not having one-on-one, or like, it was a lot of different just nonsense barriers of insecurities that we had to get past through. Because it was just, and really at the end of the day, we had to really face those challenges and unpack them together. And when we overcame them, then we started saying like the different boundaries, but still had certain rules in play, the alterations. But at the beginning, what boundaries did you really set or should have been understood that you felt that were crossed at the beginning that y'all didn't speak about, but you felt that were understood? Did y'all ever experience anything like that? Anybody on the?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I wanted to be closed. Myself and my girlfriend, we wanted to be closed. And he did not, unbeknownst to us. So like we had been going along in this relationship for some time, and then all of a sudden is, oh well, I'm not available tonight. I'm going out with such and such. What you mean you going out to do what? I mean, we still get down every night. Wait a minute. Wait, we didn't know. That's not how this works, sir. That's not how any of this works. That's not what this is going to be. So if you want to be here, then you need to make the adjustment. And he chose to go elsewhere, which was fine. I took it like, all right, go ahead about your business. Because a lot of people that are not in this life don't understand the amount of communication that is necessary in your relationship. It's way more than you'll ever have in a monogamous relationship, because you are thinking about what you want, and you have multiple other partners, and everybody has to come together and figure out what type of dynamic, what type of relationship is going to work best for everybody involved. That's individual. So you have to put all these individual thoughts, all these individual needs and desires all together and figure out how to make a cohesive relationship and how to make it work and be successful. That's a lot.
So what if you don't have any boundaries? So I feel like when I started in the throuple situation, my last relationship, there were no boundaries. So, and I think it was I don't know if it was a beneficial thing to maybe their relationship in comparison to the overall relationship. I do think the overall relationship, it allowed it to freely develop as is, but I do think it was a detriment to their relationship by not having any boundaries. So we first started, I think the first date, she was like, yeah, I don't want y'all like together without me. But then like 2 weeks later, she was like, I want you guys to go out on a date. Like, I want you guys to like figure it out. I want you guys to like each other. Cause he and I didn't like each other at first. We were just kind of like just chilling. It took some time to warm up. But then the rule was like, there are no rules. Like that was the rule. There are no rules. There are no boundaries. So develop as you please. And I do feel like because there were no boundaries, I have a strong personality. I'm going to come in, I'm going to be me. I take up a lot of space, and I took up way too much space for her. Way, way, way too much space for her. And it caused a lot of issues. So I do think there are healthy boundaries, and that need to be in place, talking like, what are you comfortable with? How are you comfortable with this? And just kind of like just changing and altering as you go, because of course, as you get to know, as you get more comfortable, of course, you're going to alter your rules or your boundaries. But we also have like little rules, like call when you get in, just like safety, like this is our relationship. This is what I require when I'm in a relationship. And I do think that's very different from having right, exactly.
I love that. I love that because that's what was one thing we had said. I like to alter the whole situation of not feeling like we're missing out on something when two of us were together, and the other one was like, if I was at work or whatever, it was to still, if I text, answer me. You know what I mean? Make sure, just check on me. Text. If I go on a date with Chantel, I'm still texting Shalon like, hey, you want anything? Sure, you good? Not overcoming our date. You know what I mean? Not because I don't want to be distracted from the date, let alone. But those were like little rules, like little things we put in play to get an understanding and catch a flow of things. So I do love that you said like healthy ways of putting like different healthy rules, healthy boundaries. I agree with that all the way through.
I feel like too sometimes, like I know the problem with our quad is like what Alex or Ty or Dale, what they might feel like is disrespectful because of their insecurity. It turns into you cross the boundary. So, but in like the other person head, it's like it's not like so. Let's say, for instance, if I don't know, I do parties. So let's say if I'm dancing with a guy, we all having a good time and we're dancing. To Dale, it's like, okay, that's Ebony, she danced, but to Alex, he feels like she's crossing a boundary. And it's like, how am I crossing a boundary here? It's like, now I have to figure out, okay, is this really a boundary for you? Or is this just an uncomfortable situation for you? And you now trying to put the word boundary on it. And so I don't know if now am I supposed to, now it's like I have to figure out how to receive that. Is this something that I need to now not do because I enjoy doing it now? Do I need to bring myself down? Like Kel said, like she takes up a lot of space. That's me too. I have a big personality. So if you're a person where you battling with like a lot of, I don't know, insecurities or a lot of different emotions with you, I can make people uncomfortable. So now in relationships, it's the same way for me. It's like, okay, so is this a moment Ebony got to bring herself down a little bit so you can feel better? Or is this a moment where I be like, that's you?
And I can definitely relate to that. To both of you guys. I do take up a lot of space. I don't take up me personally, I don't think I take up too much space, but I do take up a lot of space. And my personality is big. So it was it wasn't difficult, but then it was difficult. And Ebony, I do have a question to piggyback on just your dynamic alone, as far as your husband is okay with you being free. How is it for like another male, like two men? You have to think about, okay, is he gonna be okay with this? Is this gonna be okay with this? And Ty, I don't want to take Ty out of the equation either. So but that's a sidebar conversation.
Because Ty kind of like a man too.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. She vibe a little bit, but it wasn't no shake that monkey kind of vibe. It was just
right.
Yeah, to take away from that, coming into something that was already established, as well as having a strong personality, it was like night and day for me and Shalon, and then to be taken on as a storm with Alex is like, okay, well, shit. I'm used to her not doing this or doing this a certain way. You coming in and so you like the renegade, like, hold up, you just all out. And it's just like, okay, do I have to dial myself down? Do I have to kind of pull back? Did I have to? That was a fight. I can say that.
I can relate a lot to that. Now, I will say the little cheating piece that I do have that you don't have is I have a man in my life that we have already been through all of the BS and I'm making you feel uncomfortable. Now we're in a space where he gets me, he knows where I come from, and he's my safe place. So now I have Dale to kind of lean on, of making me feel like, baby, you good. Don't worry about it. Don't dumb yourself down. Don't bring yourself down. Shine bright like a diamond, babe. So I had Dale to do that. So I can only imagine, not having that, how I would feel out of place. I would, because getting into a relationship with Ty and Alex, I did feel like I need to bring myself down a little bit to make them feel comfortable. I did. I absolutely felt like that. I'm like, okay, maybe I am doing too much, or maybe I do say too much. As everybody know me, I'm very blunt. I'm going to say what I feel. If it's stupid, I'm literally going to say that's stupid. I'm not going to be like, well, there's a better way you could do that. If you look, I'm like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And so to them, they're like, why you have to talk like that? And my husband knows me. He's like, she's really coming from love. Like, don't take it, to heart. She's really coming out of love. So it's still a battle to this day with me and Alex and all of that. And Alex thinks I'm the most disrespectful person in the world, child. He just like,
This Alex do too, man.
Nah, look, but pause,
I think it's responsible though.
Pause. Because as you said, it's the same thing though too from a man. Because there's things that I do that because I have a big personality that Siobhan understands with, and then she get on my neck about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just a different view of shit at the same time. There's things that she moves, I'll be like, okay, shit. There's things I do, how I move. How do you think? How would you feel if I do it? Let's talk about it. And then like, okay, so we go back and forth. So
but my thing is, why can't everybody literally be who they authentically who you are? Why can't everybody literally be who they are? Like, you be you be you. And it's my choice to either be here because I enjoy experiencing your personality. If you got a problem with how I say something or how I'm doing something, we ain't gonna argue about who I am.
No, we gonna argue about that. No,
there's like this tricky part, because like sometimes it's not just like, it's not about you being who you are. It's just about you wanting what you want, right? And so then like, I do feel like it is responsible, if you are coming into an already like established dynamic, to kind of like tread with caution. Like, you don't want to just come in, like, you're not gonna start a new job and then start telling people what to do. Like, yeah, you need to go over here. You don't know.
Yes, I will.
You don't know.
Yes,
You don't know
I
shit about the place. You don't know nothing about how this process works. So for me, I mean, that's definitely like, if that's how you roll, I think stay in that. But for me, I think I would rather be like, go in, get a feel for like what things are, and then see like what I'm comfortable with, what I'm not comfortable with, and then move like navigate that way. Because it's just like, I'm not trying to break up a happy home. That was my thing when I first came into the relationship. Like, I really put their relationship as top because like I already knew that I was older than them. I had a lot more experience than them, and like I would be fine here or somewhere else.
I feel like that's where people mess up at, because you literally said I put them before what I wanted to be because of this, and I disagree with that. I feel like everybody should put what they want. Everybody should be who they want. Everybody should do that, and then everybody respect what each other wants.
I think there's levels to that though. So like, of course, I'm not gonna like do anything that's completely contrary to what I want, but at the same time, I might make some compromise out of the sake of the throuple. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, I'm not about to, they're saying like, we're going to go to bed at 9 p.m. every night. Like, fuck y'all. I don't go to bed at 9 p.m. Like, this is not what I'm doing. And that's just like an example, like just a random example, but like something serious, like, we go to church every day and we go to this Catholic church every day. So you need to be at this church. No, that's not what I'm doing. So then I'd be like, this may not be for me. But then there's small things like, let me just let y'all rock. Let me actually just kind of see how y'all rock and kind of determine, like, because it's all about getting to know people too at the same time. So I think it's like, it's responsible to kind of like give and take a little bit, just so that way you can understand, understand people.
Same way, because like you, I'm single. So I've been in relationships where I met a single person and we met another person together, and I've also been in situations where I was coming into a couple. And when I come into a couple, well, really when I come into either situations, but especially a couple, I'm a sit and watch. I'm kind of looking, I'm seeing how you move, I'm seeing y'all's dynamics together, I'm seeing how, she interacts with me, I'm seeing how he interacts with me, and I'm kind of feeling to see, all right, is this a place that I can vibe in and that I can thrive in as well? Or is this a situation where I feel like I'm going to be caged in, or I'm going to be shut down, or am I going to feel like a third wheel all the time? So in the beginning, I'm very quiet. As loud as I am and as big as my personality is, I'm quiet in the beginning because I'm really watching and paying attention to what's going on and kind of seeing how y'all rock, because that's really going to tell me whether or not this is a relationship that I'm even interested in coming into.
you know what though? What like one thing, even though like when Chantel came in and she was herself and there was a lot of fight, there was still a lot that I learned from that. There was just like I'm not gonna take away that what she was doing was just like instantly you just want to fight or you just want to be against. No, there was a lot that I had to really reflect on myself and say, no, that makes sense. Or that's stemming from that barrier, that insecurity, that okay, that I'm putting that blockage. So there was, even though we were going at it about it at the end of the day, I wouldn't want her to sit back quietly. You know, I want her to put what it's going to be and how it's going to be operated from her to know what I'm going to be expecting. Because
Right.
I had to learn I have the choice. You know what I mean? What I'm going to deal with, what I'm not going to deal with, and let it be known from there. Just like she has a choice.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't sit there and I prefer it that way because I know what I'm getting. I don't want you to just one day suppress all that shit. Next thing you know, my
Right.
my tires are slashed. You know, I got tires.
Not
And a lot
slash
of
tires.
people do that.
I
But you
prefer
know
that.
what?
I'm gonna do this. Okay, well, no, we're gonna crash heads right now, real quick. But yeah, I prefer that. But that right there, yeah, most definitely.
And you know what too? What I realized, like being with someone like you, and Shalon been together for so long, and like me and Dale been together so long, and our other boo's been together so long, you get comfortable. You get real comfortable, and it's almost kind of like I don't want to use the word settling, but it's almost kind of like, oh, that's just what it is, or it's no challenge now because we kind of raised each other, we grew up together, so now it's not that. But now when we opened our marriage and we got somebody else coming in, they looking like, so you just gonna let him do that, and you been okay with that for 17 years? And I could tell you're not okay with that. Oh, you just gonna let. So now you challenging our relationship because we just been going through just breezy, just dealing with stuff, just brushing it under the rug. It's okay, because I've been with him since I was 15, 16. And I could say both of us, the quad, our other boots, same thing with them, same thing with us. So we kind of started poking a little bit and challenging each other, and then kind of started seeing now really boundaries started really kicking in, because even with the husband and wives who've been together forever, it'd be like, wait, I had learned some new shit about my husband. I'm like, oh damn, nigga, I ain't even know, and vice versa with them. They're like, oh, I didn't know, but that's because now other people here and we challenging each other now.
That's the
So,
beauty of polyam, though. Like, you wouldn't
mhm.
get that in any other dynamic. I think that's what makes this so beautiful and what makes it so like dynamic of an experience for anybody, because you are going to be challenged. Like, everybody who has been in any type of poly situation has had some challenges. And they're most likely like self-induced. Like, it's like, oh, I need to figure this out for myself. I need to figure out why I'm feeling like this, why I'm having this insecurity, why I'm upset about this. Like, why am I like acting this way? It's usually an internal thing. So I think that's what makes this relationship dynamic
Yeah,
so
I
beautiful.
love it. I love when I discover something about myself that I never thought about. I'd be like, dang, Ebony, you got to learn to get rid of that girl. I love it. And I really feel like if I never became poly, I would be stuck in a lot of ways, because my husband is going to coddle me and baby me. I'm going to coddle and baby him a little bit just because we known each other for so long. So it's like, it definitely makes me grow a whole lot more. And I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
I have a question
I could.
for Eddie. Eddie, since you and Kiara are solo poly, have you ever had a situation where you may have seen something that another one of her partners did that you felt like it made you step your game up with Kiara?
Hell no. The fuck? I'm Eddie Roy Ruff the third. God damn it. The
Damn
fuck?
right.
What kind of question is that?
That was a good question. Natasha.
But no, like seriously, no. I honestly feel like the cats that she fuck with try to be me and they can never, and like trying to be me, they end up falling out. Like, cause they can't. Kiara is spoiled as fuck. I do not tell that woman no. So to for her, and it's not even just material things. It's if she was to be like, yo, come and cuddle, I'd be like, all right, y'all, I'm gone. And I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? I don't tell her no.
I
And
know that's right.
a lot of niggas can't handle that. So
I think that's a horrible mistake to come into a relationship trying to be the person's other partner. She's dating other people to get, or he's dating other
To
people
get something different.
to get a different experience. So why would
Right.
you try to be like my husband or my wife if I'm trying to be with you to get you? I don't want another one of them. I want you. I want you to be who you are. Like, that's the whole point.
And I really think it's just what she requires from me. I think she has a hard time of not applying that same requirement to other dudes, because of what she gets from me. So I
But I
don't
don't
know.
think she has to though, because
Huh?
I don't think that she should have to, because that's who she is. Like, I can kind of compare that to how I grew up. I grew up with a father that spoiled me. So I expect my man to do the same. And I expect my woman to do the same. And that's not going to change. That's regardless of partner. Anybody who come in, presents, please.
I love that.
Back rubs, cuddle time.
No.
Yeah, all of that. That ain't no. What
And I can understand that. And Eddie ain't lying either. Like Kiara was saying, she'd be like, ain't nobody better than Eddie. But that's some real shit though, because honestly, I'm spoiled too. My husband spoiled me too. So when I dated, I'd be like, no, who the hell says that? Right. And why?
Like, that's like calling me a bitch.
See, I've been on the wrong street.
Me too, girl.
I don't like no either, but they still tell me no.
They tell my ass
I have
no.
problems with it, and we have problems about this NO word. But
you know what? I'm a firm believer. Why are you telling your booze no? I don't get it, because I don't say no to them either. Why are we saying no to each other for what? If you want it, you got it. If I got it, you got it. I don't understand why we saying no as adults to people we want to be with and make them happy. Why?
Thank you. Especially when you're getting what you need from me. If
why are we saying no?
Let me hear why I say no. What do I say no to? What do I say no to?
Let me get my ego.
Nigga, you just said you tell me no, so you tell me what you tell me no to.
I would say no if it's like some shit that I know I can't do. I'm gonna say no, but I do surprises. I do whatever. I'm gonna pop up. I'm gonna handle business.
I can see.
I mean, but of course, I'm not gonna ask my man for a Rolls Royce. I know he can't afford that right now. If I'm asking you for something, it's something I know you can do.
You said you was on the wrong street. Shit. No,
I've been on the wrong street.
DMs are finally open. Slide in. Obviously, advertisement right here. I got told shit.
I thought this was a safe space, okay? If it ain't safe, stop leaving.
Don't be trying to use her words against her, sir.
Safe space.
Because I know you be saying no. You be like, oh, not tonight, babe. I'm sleeping. Not tonight, head ass. I know.
Shit.
But you know what though? I'd rather you say no than give me some lazy dick. I'd rather you say no.
Yeah,
I'd rather say no than you give me half ass.
No.
He's just telling
me.
me
You gotta wake the dick up.
Rape is not.
That's the one thing I ain't saying no to.
But look, with all that said on boundaries, I love that we touched on so many different things. I love that we dove into it and actually just got so many different perspectives on it. But also with those boundaries that we set can also alter dynamics. That's also what I wanted to kind of dive into next. You know, because some people will sit there and say at the end of the day, you know, I understand how you move and however you move and however it is. You know, I don't want to do it in a closed situation. I may want to open my situation. I may want to be solo poly. I may want to be, you know, there's so many different dynamics. I'm not going to really dive into it because I can't really process it right now. But I'm really looking into this. You know, how do those conversations go? I know some of us in the poly community went from swingers to poly, went from poly thruples or triads to solo poly, open, closed, all those. Like, is that something we need to be open to and understand, especially those that are new to poly, that this may be a thing or a conversation that you are going to meet? Do we have to really process that? And also with a
you should be open to all kinds of stuff. Like once you start out, you kind of got, especially if you're new, if you're completely new to poly, you've never been in a poly relationship, you got to figure out what you want. Like you got to start there. So start by figuring out, okay, do we want to get, you know, another girlfriend? Is that what we want to do? Okay, cool. We want to get another girlfriend. Let's find someone. Let's start dating. Do we want to keep this closed? All that stuff, the open, the closed, that stuff is going to come over time. It's going to come as you get in your relationship and you have a conversation. You find someone, that you really like. Y'all have the conversation and you see what that other partner likes. What do they want? And if what they want is going to mesh with something that you all feel like you can complete in your relationship, that you all can be what you need to be to each person in your relationship and everything's going to work out, do that. But it might change later. It might be like 5 years down the road. You'll be like, you know what? I think that I'm paying now, so I want to get another boyfriend. So, and this might be a trans man. So I'm in another relationship. I have someone else and I'm added into our group. So you have to kind of be open to the idea that everything is not going to stay the same. As you grow in any relationship, who you are at the beginning and who you are 5 or 2 years from that is not the same person.
If you're doing this shit right.
Right.
If you're the
If
same
you
person,
doing this shit right, you will not come out of this shit the same way you went in if you doing it
Poly
right.
is very humbling. I can tell you that much. Like, especially now, I can't really speak for another position, but coming in to something that is already established is very humbling. I know, Kel, you can agree.
Absolutely.
Baby, you be thinking that it's one way. You be thinking that you one way, and that's what you gonna stand for, and that's what you gonna go by. And then you see another way, and then you see your way with some shit, and then you look like, man, I've been doing it this way the whole damn time, and I'm fighting to do this way, and that way is so much simpler and easy, and it didn't come from me. Oh my goodness, let me sit back, let me learn, let me shut up.
Y'all women are strong. The women that goes into like another marriage, I always say that
I keep trying to tell people.
I commend y'all for real. Let me tell y'all something. I commend Chantel, Kel, Natasha, because I already know. I don't think I'll be able to do it. I don't. I really don't. I really don't. So y'all,
that makes sense as to why you made that statement earlier of like, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna say what the fuck I want, and this is what it is, because it does take a very like humbling personality. Like for sure, I definitely was humble because I had like always have been, always will be. And that part, when my boyfriend is in love, madly in love with my girlfriend, but not in love with me. We just started dating. Like he's just like, you cool, you fine. That's pretty much it. It's humbling because I never been with a man who wasn't obsessed with me, like right off the jump. So like that in itself is like, it's a transition, but also too, just like your desires change, like once I got into the poly relationship, we were a close throuple. We were supposed to start a life together. I realized I'm not biromantic. I'm only bisexual. I don't want to do this on a daily basis. I don't want to see you on a daily basis. I want me and my man to take care of our business, and we catch you on fun days, like not on every day. So it was a transition for me. And then when I brought it to the throuple, like I'm a straight up person. Like, hey, actually, I decided I don't like this no more. I tried it. Don't like it. They were like, how dare you? And I'm like, hey, this is a part of life. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to try something and down the line decide I don't want this anymore. That's okay. And I do think it's responsible for the other people in the relationship to have like this open room of communication for your partner to be able to share that, because that's the issue why these things don't get communicated. It's like, oh, I don't want to break up the peace, but it's like, no. I don't like this no more. So what we gonna do?
Yeah.
How we gonna figure it out? The not wanting to break up the peace is because you coming in here, it's just you. You don't have any support. There's nobody on your side, rubbing your shoulder like, babe, I got you. Say what you want to say. You just out there like
that. And that's what I wanted to piggyback on with Ebony.
And that's why I said y'all strong.
Yes, because I was going to tell you that is a beautiful thing to have, Ebony. It's somebody that you grew up with that know you, that love your dirty draws, that done seen you before the glow up, after the glow up, everything, like walk that step of life with you. That's a beautiful thing to have came across in life. And to come into that, seeing that on the other side and not having that, but having to understand that, it was a back and forth kind of thing, because it's like, okay, am I cutting myself short. Okay, am I too old to even get that? Okay, I'm tagging in on somebody else's. It was a lot. That's a part of my humbling transition, because it's like, are you missing something? But then are you regretting what you're doing? But then no, you don't regret what you're doing, because yeah, I could say that
So,
much.
Alex, do you feel like you have to, like, did you feel like, Alex, this is for you, like, did you feel like you have to, like, show Chantel a little more love and attention just because she was coming into, you know, you and Shalon's situation?
No, I showed her whatever she needed to be had. Like I don't do things with how I do things with Shalon, how I do things with Chantel. At the end of the day, the history, me and Shalon's history would never be matched. You know what I mean? But Shalon would never match mine and Chantel's history. Hell, at this point too, I won't even match their history. Shit, they got each other's back so hard against me, you know, and that's what you trust within. You know what I mean? You can't sit there.
That's right, lady.
I always do at the end of the day. You can't sit there.
That was a cry for help.
And try to make sense. Hell yeah, you still fucking.
He was like, help.
I hate both them motherfuckers. There was a lot of times I was like, man, you motherfuckers are setting me up. Y'all against me.
Y'all be tag teaming my boy, man. That ain't
was
right.
Processing my emotion. No, but you know, that's what you want at the end of the day. Like if you ask us right now, can I speak? And I used to, then it's just you have to trust within time. I'm a big believer in that. You have to trust within time. I will never. Me and Shalon have our history, but me and Chantel at this point too, we have our history. We have our experiences. We have our memories. We have our child. We have our children over here too. So it was one thing when I handle each. I don't hate to say handle. You know, when I'm involving myself in the relationship with each of them, I'm gonna involve myself how it's necessary, and we're gonna create whatever necessary amongst each other. Yeah, it's different because someone coming in, you're already intimidated, or you're already getting some type of emotion behind what the couple had. You know, so at the end of the day, I understand that perspective, but it's just to really reassure that we're gonna have our history, we're gonna have our stories, we're gonna have our own connection through it all. You have to trust within,
right?
Let them know that their bond was gonna get strong as fuck, and I felt jumped all the fucking time. I can't get shit right,
especially when she's coming into your house. So now you're coming into another woman's home, and you attempting to set up shop and make your space, you know, your space too. Make this space, this home that's already established, put yourself in it and make yourself a part. Woo! Jesus.
Yeah, God.
That's something I won't do. That's something I won't do. I think I know myself well enough to know, and I think that's why I was like, hey, if we want to move together, we need to move somewhere fresh, somewhere new, where we're all moving into. Yeah. Because I already know me. And like, I like my stuff a certain way. And I'm going to be frankly honest, when we moved into the new home, it was an issue trying to put everything in the house, because like I fold my towels one way, she fold her towels another way. I organized my pantry one way, she organized her pantry the other way, and we both cancers. It was a fight.
That was petty. Y'all was crabbing at each other. Just two crabs in a bucket.
Cereal box that way.
Wow. Exactly, and it's like, come on now.
Ooh.
So we decided.
I hate when cancers fight. That's just
you know, it was bad. So what we decided was, I'm gonna do the organizing. She can do the decorating, right? So like, there's an even. You know, we had to kind of trying to figure it out, because it was just getting too crazy over some little things like towels, you know? So like, we had to kind of, and that goes back to boundaries of like, okay, so what is your bound? Like, how do we want to, you know, what are the rules here, you know, and negotiating that. And it's all about compromise and coming together and finding out what's going to work best for everybody. Because I was fine with organizing. That makes me happy. Let me organize everything. You can decorate things if you want. Hey.
See, this is the stuff I tell you. This ain't in the handbook. It's not.
No, it is not. It's not. But
the only 3 people got that have like the whole list of all this stuff, and we ain't got access to it. So we out here just struggling.
Right. But I will say my dynamic has changed. Like, I know now I don't want to date with my husband. No, thank you. I'm good. If I dated, I want my own boyfriend, my own girlfriend by myself. I do not want to date with my husband. I had my dynamic, my mindset. Now I do know I like having 3 people. I'm aware of that. I like having hubby, boyfriend, girlfriend. I love that. But I want to date with my husband. I want my own shit. He has his own. I got my own.
Okay.
And that's what I say, to be open to like an understanding for self. I think a lot of people, when they're coming into poly, and if it changes, understand what it is for yourself, to make yourself balanced, make yourself at peace, make yourself happy. You know, and be content. That's the main thing. You know, and that's somebody that wants to be in a situation where this is monogamous to a polyamorous person, or we're all open, or whatever it is, or we're switching up the dynamic to solo poly, whatever it is, date separately. We have to be really well known that this is for us. We're not doing it in a reaction. Oh, you did it, so I'm doing it. Don't do that, you know, because you're gonna find yourself in a shitty situation. And this is where I believe where a lot of things, when we misunderstand the mental toll. That's why I wanted to kind of go. So it's kind of dope to kind of just do this transition into that conversation, because we dealt with a lot of mental toll. We dealt, man, like the stresses. And I think this is what a lot of people don't understand. But we're going through the process of understanding the boundaries. And we're going through the process of seeing how the dynamic's going to change. Through all this whole situation, you're dealing with a whole bunch of fucking stresses. A whole bunch of times that you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You know you love to be loved. You're in this situation, but this shit is overwhelming. I remember a point to my body had broke out from so much stresses. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like, my body literally broke out. Shalon, you know, she dropped down in weight. You know, Chantel was always walking around lost, just like not knowing at any moment what the fuck to fix or whatever, because there was so much problems, so many different emotions, trying to figure it out, hoping for peace, but can't find the fucking peace because we're still trying to find the fucking structure, especially when our dynamic had changed. Like, we thought it was going to be one way, then it switched over with the conversation, and then now this brought more pressure. You know, and I think a lot of people don't realize throughout all this, you have to understand when you set your boundaries, how they can actually really change. If the dynamics, understand the conversation, but understand the mental toll that you're going to catch behind all this shit until you get to the end of. I really wouldn't even say there's a. Nah, I would say there's an end because we're pretty at peace. But how do you guys, have you guys ever experienced the mental tolls, the stresses behind any of this shit, trying to go navigating through poly? Let me put it like that, navigating through poly. Did y'all experience any of those?
Man, hell yeah. Go ahead, Natasha.
Counseling is key.
Fact.
I went to counseling on my own. I've been going to counseling for years. Counseling is key in any time. I don't care if you're a monogamous. I don't care if you got a relationship with just you and your dog. Like, you need counseling. Y'all have to figure out a way to manage everything that you're feeling, because not only are you having to manage your own emotions, you're having to manage the emotions of the other people that are in your relationship, because that stuff affects you. Like, when they having a horrible ass day, they're gonna bring that energy to you. So imagine having 3 people and everybody just had a bad day today, and now that everybody's dumping that on you, and you like, well, fuck, I had a bad day too. Nobody can fuck about my needs are happening. Now everything has blown up. Shit is crazy, and we about to burn now. We're all of us in it. Like, no, we gonna die together. Wait.
We be driving Shalon off the cliff with us all the time. She be looking like I can't catch a break. One of them mad. They generally mad at each other, so I'm gonna have to hear about the shit. I don't know who gonna come at me first, but I'm gonna have to hear about it. And it's gonna be in a bad mood, because if they avoiding each other, I can't pick a side. I gotta be neutral. So, and then there's a baby involved too. So we kind of got to get this shit together quick. It be a whole lot of shit.
With the separation.
How do you handle that? How do you
Yeah,
handle
I want to know. That's my question. How do you handle that?
This hoe bake some cookies in a minute. Shut everybody up like a mama.
I knew I was putting like, you know what? The separation, right? The separation. This shit, we could not communicate. Me and Shalon, we are very strong personality. So Chantel, me and Chantel. I get that. I'm gonna edit this part out. I'm gonna edit that out.
I ain't shit.
At least they like each other.
I ain't gotta get thrown under the bus by the fucking community when I'm speaking about this. But no, me and Chantel, we are strong personality. So man, that's it. What you doing? You say something, now coming out my mouth too. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is how. So our communication just started failing, and then, you know, when we started becoming stagnant, it became even more. So when I felt like I couldn't communicate with her, I'm going through her like, yo, fuck this shit. Like, are you serious? And she going telling Shalon too. And then Shalon just always, well, you know, are you seeing it?
We want to hear from Shalon though.
Yeah,
that's what we want to hear from.
Basically, what I would do, I would just ask them, well, have you seen it from this? Have you seen it from their perspective? Or I would just go and let them know. Well, I mean, like, nigga, you said this. I mean, that's what triggered the person to have this reaction. Did you see that point? And it would just go back and forth because they weren't hearing each other out, and that was just the biggest thing I said between both of them. Are y'all hearing each other? Because y'all are both saying the same fucking shit, but y'all are not hearing each other, and y'all are going through me. And at a point, I was like, you know what? I'm tired. Don't fucking tell me about shit. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you.
So I say, fuck both of y'all at this point.
Shalon said, I'm going to hang out and I'm taking the baby.
Nah, for real. She come on. I'll be like, ooh. Like she left both of us and left out the house in the rain. Like nigga, she was just like, listen, fuck this, fuck y'all. I'm finna go take a walk for a second because she tried to come calm me down. I'm ready to go. She looking like, listen, just talk to me. At that point, I'm fuck both of y'all. I don't want to talk to nobody. She looking like, okay, well, it's fuck me. Well, fuck y'all. Like shit.
It was crazy, right? Because we find ourselves in a position where we have to have those hard talks that we refuse to have. We have to have those hard talks. And that night that she's talking about, we were having a really fucking hard talk. We were putting everything out on the table. What's the saying? Unpack together to grow together. We were unpacking a lot of shit, and it was just like, yo, tempers were flared. Like that's it. And it became overwhelming for Shalon. So she was like, yo, fuck this shit. She dipped the fuck out. And we still really were going like I always say, get your selfish moment of peace. You have to walk away to get your peace. But even at that, tensions were still high. But once everything kind of cleared out, we were able to gain clarity of the situation and what was going on. But yeah, when you lose that moment of the ability to communicate, and that's what we did because our relationship, we started to really hate each other, love each other, but hate. You could. What was the saying that you always say? I could like you, I could love you, but hate you. I could dislike you, love you. You know,
it's a thin line between love and hate. They ain't lying about that.
It's a thin line.
And at that point, it was just overwhelming. It was just a lot of stresses that were going on. And it just became overwhelming. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was a big fight. Like we fought for like.
But you know what? Sometimes fights, it seems like it's unhealthy, but it can end up being healthy. Because sometimes you need to kind of get that out and get that hurt a little bit to kind of see, and it hits you in a second. Sometimes things don't hit people sometimes until it hurt. And it's like, you know what? That hurt me so bad that I don't have no choice but to kind of see this right now. It's some kind of way. So, I mean, it happened. We move on. We hear each other and then we go on. But you know what? I'm going to sound different. Actually, it's mentally easier for me since I'm poly than when I was monogamous with my husband for 8 years. And I can say it's easier being poly for me. I actually feel the opposite here. It's less stress for me.
So
I don't know why.
My eyes up a lot for me. Like it changed my view on just the way that a lot of things, the way that I do things, and the way that I understand things. So it did allow me to be way more patient with certain things that I probably wouldn't have been patient in a monogamous relationship.
Right.
You know, monogamy equals, man, fuck this. If it ain't what I'm trying to do, fuck it. You know, this is what we're supposed to do. I think monogamy equals a lot of rules. I mean, I respect it because it's for whoever is, you know, choosing to do it. But
definitely, it's a box. Like there's nothing that you can do outside of that box.
It's like a safe place. A safe place.
Memory, it's like ain't no walls. We can figure this out. However we want to make our relationship, we are free to do whatever the fuck we want in our relationship. You can't do that when you monogamous because it's just y'all two, and that's it. There's no other dynamic. There's no other way to do you and one other person. It's just y'all, and that's it. Versus, you know, doing what we do, you can have a gamut of different types of relationships and thrive and flourish in those individual relationships as well as in any core relationship that you might have within that.
And I do think there's seasons for things too, right? So you can be monogamous in a season with your partner and decide, hey, okay, I'm ready now. You know, like, oh, for example, random example, like I just had a baby, which I haven't, but like, let's say I just had a baby and me and my husband, you know, I'm like, hey, like, I'm not trying to be poly right now. Let's just figure this parent thing out. You know, let's do this for like a year. And then after the year's up, I'm like, hey, so where the girlfriend at? You know, like, so I do think it just allows you to just be open. And that's what I love about polyamory is that like I can be honest about my feelings and whatever they are at any given time, which you can't do in monogamy.
Right.
As a young black poly man, you know, when people hear me talk about poly, the only thing that they think about is the amount of women that I'm able to have. But what they do not think about is the stress that is added when you add women.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't make your stress go away. It adds to the stress. And not only does it add to the stress, it adds to the need to be better. Like I learned that there was no way that I was going to be able to satisfy two women if I didn't have my shit together. And I'm not talking about satisfy them sexually. I'm talking about satisfy them mentally, where I could differentiate my wife's personality and how she needs to be loved, and my girlfriend's personality and how she needs to be loved, instead of, well, shit, Kiera like it this way, so why don't you? No, I had to learning how to separate that shit, learning how to, cause that was one of those rules in the beginning. And I was like, you know, I need the opportunity to get to know these people, cause what you like, you know, everybody don't like the same shit like you, and yada yada yada. I need the opportunity to get to know them, and to learn them and all this other shit. And so she was like, cool. And that decision alone opened really just like flew the fucking doors of poly open for me, because I have a lot more platonic relationships with women because of polyamory than I ever had when I was just monogamous. Cause I can be myself, and like, if I'm talking to you, Ebony, or if I'm talking to Ty and Kiera walks in the room and we get off the phone, hey, I love you. Like, I ain't got to worry about getting no knife put in my back because I'm telling another woman I love her. And you know what I'm saying? I ain't got to do none of that. And she understands that my love I'm not just telling anybody I love them. So if she hear me say it and she know it's something real, she know it ain't on no bullshit, because she know how this being poly has afforded us both the opportunity to watch each other love in the way that they want to, and to operate in their love languages with somebody else. And it's poly has been wonderful for us.
Yeah.
What it does is it opens up that other part of your emotions to where, you know, in a monogamous relationship, it's just you and the other person. Most people, like, you know, they have these whole videos about how you can't be friends with people of the opposite sex. That's
crazy.
Stupid. It's stupid. And because of how we live and how we love, we're not intimidated by people of the opposite sex. So you're going to have more relationships. Well, if you're a man, you're going to have a lot of relationships with other women that are not romantic. All of the relationships you're going to have with the various people you're going to have it with, they're not all romantic relationships. But you're open to have them because you have a partner that understands how love works. And that you loving someone else does not mean that you necessarily want to fuck them. Does not mean that you want to be in relationship with them. It just means that you love them as a person. You love who they are, what they represent, and the things that they provide in your life. You know, the person that they are to you. You know, the way that they support you. Like, that's love too, and it's okay to have that. But it's this whole thing. I've seen so many videos of, no, I don't have no other women, especially not no single women in my relationship, because I'm a married man. I'm not gonna tempt her like that, and I'm not gonna disrespect my wife in that way.
No, girl, she right. They be preaching to themselves because they be the main ones. Baby, ooh, we
You
trying
right,
to
Chantel.
succulent, saying maybe I don't want to touch it all. Okay, I done touched the devilish fruit. Like what the fuck?
My wife
Nigga,
saw it,
you
baby.
know you the first
You
one
think this
trying
other
to
woman
text
is
it.
gonna see it too, and she not gonna want to be with me. And now I'm bringing all that turmoil into my kingdom. You know, I got my queen already. She already here.
Preaching to
Right.
themselves.
I will say, let me give Eddie kudos on something he said real quick when he said that he had to understand that just because the way you love your wife doesn't mean that the girls you're dating is going to like the same thing. And that is some real shit, because I will say that's probably one of our problems, where it's like, just because your wife like it, y'all know how many times I'm like, I'm not your wife. I am not your wife, sir. I don't care what I'll be so quick to say that. I don't care what your wife like. I am not your wife. And I do think you have to learn that balance of, oh, okay, it's not the same. Let me get to know her and see what she is about, see what she like. Just because it got down to the kissing for me. Like, I'm not like a super kisser. And I'm not like, don't be putting your tongue like all down my throat, So I had to be like, hold up, let's learn how to, like, down to that, where I need you to understand, like, it's not the same over here. So that's some real shit, Eddie, for real. Don't try to pull the same shit that you pull with your wife with me.
It's not cookie cutter. It can't be like
You
insert
so right.
and move the same. Like if you're having sex, you're a single man and you're having sex with multiple women. I'm sure you're not fucking all of them the same. I hope not.
Probably.
Probably give it the same bit.
That's the problem with some of you. What's the problem with some of you?
It's probably dropping off the same bit.
Mhm.
Well, it might depend on the woman.
Right. Like, no, you can't be doing the same thing that you did with the last. You gotta learn me. You gotta figure out what I like. Just like I have to learn you and figure out what you like. Don't
If you care.
start treating me like, oh, well, my wife like roses of this color, so let me just get you to no, I don't even like fucking roses. I like daisies.
Right.
I want a daisy. I don't want a rose. So you have to have that communication with your partner and figure out like what they like. Don't just step in there and be like, okay, insert woman, I'm gonna move this way like I always. Don't do that. You'll find yourself alone.
If they care, they will switch it up. I can't say that much. It shows. If they do see, some things don't work for you, they'll take that time and learn you. Now, if they don't, if they still want to left stroke you when you a right stroker and they don't care, they only for them, then you kind of got to stroke him to the other side of the street. I care. The wrong side of the street. Huh?
The wrong side.
Start closing that shop. Like, I'm good.
You know? Because he don't care.
Well, with that said, man, I want to thank you guys really for joining me for this topic, man, for a couple of insights of everything. I think we kind of touched on everything on boundaries, dynamic changes, and also a little bit of mental toll and stresses. So,
of course, another great episode with the Portah family. Make sure y'all follow me, Polly Sexy Cool, Chocolate Drop Polly, my chocolate events. And yeah, till next time.
I always have a great time with you guys. So make sure that you follow me at It's Natasha, the number 2U. Also follow Millennial Mixes. And if you're in the Baton Rouge area, stop by Jags Classic Corner. We'll be opening next Monday. So come by and see your girl. I love to make you a drink. I'm going to get you fucked up.
Yes. I had so much fun tonight. It was so informative. Learned a few things, got to share a few things. So I'm super grateful. You can find me at ms_k.jones. That's Kel Jones. And if you're looking to elevate your brand, Lavender Tea Group is here for you. I'm also writing a book on my poly experience, so be on the lookout for that. And I had a great time. Thanks.
What up, y'all? This is Eddie Ruffman, half of Rough Talk. Man, we got a lot coming out, all of that shit. But the most important thing I want to talk about right now is our first annual Boo Bash. It's going down in Atlanta, October 23rd. Tickets are on sale now, so holla at us. Peace.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Big facts.
Yeah, so am I.
Facebook will be in the building. Natasha will be in the building. The whole panel will be in the building. So, I mean, yeah, no, we're going to be in there, turn that bitch up and out. Can't go. First Boo Bash, we're going to make sure it's right. Again, I thank y'all so much for actually joining the discussion, joining the topic, coming to the V table for the panel portion. Now, I love y'all. Much peace and respect.